Today we're talking about not how to just light a scene, but how to paint a scene with light. Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Nate Caywood. I'm a Los Angeles-based cinematographer, and I created this YouTube channel with the intention of breaking down the work of the best cinematographers on the planet in the hopes that by reverse engineering what they're doing, I can figure it out. I can steal their tricks, and I can become a better cinematographer, and hopefully you guys can learn something along the way. Guys, today we are talking about Joe Wright's 2005 adaptation of Jane Austen's incredibly successful novel, Pride and Prejudice. This film came out 20 years ago. It is so beloved, it currently in theaters has a re-release happening, and people are going, and they're seeing it, and they're loving it. And today we are looking at the images from this film because honestly, I was sleeping on this movie. I had never seen it, and one of my friends said, yo, you got to check out this movie. It's beautifully lit. It looks incredible. And I was like, holy buckets. He was right. And so now we're getting into it. We're talking about the cinematography and the lighting of Pride and Prejudice. Here's our first image that I wanted to talk about. I just want to talk about how important the composition is. Like we're going to, in the subsequent images, we're going to get more and more into light and its complexity. Actually, if you watched my video last week about 28 years later and shooting on your iPhone, you can actually see that there's a still frame that's not too dissimilar from this one. The composition and the idea is the same. It's a very, very dark tree against the sky and people in that scene running at you. This scene, she's moving horizontally across frame. This direction, and I love it. This is about time of day. This is about when you schedule this shot. This is about being understanding the framing and the composition that you're looking for, right? So look, the big question that the director and cinematographer have of this is, where is this tree going to be in the composition, right? That's what they're going to be asking, because they could track the camera this way and the tree becomes further over here. Or they could do the opposite, which is that they track the camera this way and the tree becomes more centered, right? So the texture and the interest and the story of this frame, to me, is where the tree is, because that's sort of creating, this is the contrast of it, and then it immediately makes her pop against the sky because she's the only dark thing in the rest of the space. As Western language speakers, as speaking English and other Western languages based on Romance language, we read left to right. So frequently, like the way that you kind of scan this inherently is left to right, and the story is unfolding this direction, which is you're like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, check out that tree. Oh, there's a person there. Oh, and they're moving that direction. Would this image be as interesting and as painterly and as impressive if it wasn't a cloudy day? Nothing that the filmmakers can control, but would it? Now we're painting with light, y'all. I did a video previously talking about the paintings of Vermeer. You can check that out here, or this is very in line with this. I also will say, once we get into some of the other images, John Singer Sargent is a painter who I think is probably very in line with the tone, framing, lighting, aesthetic of this film. So think Vermeer, think John Singer Sargent. That's the world that we're living in. What do I love about this? There is a repeating motif of frames within a frame. Now, I know that there isn't a frame in the foreground of this scene, but there is a frame in the background. So she is walking into a frame, which creates depth and interest and texture. This stuff is all really, really down. So what we're creating is layers of light. I think that's the thing, is like when I say painting of light, and this is just my own perception, right? Like everybody's going to have their own definition of this. And this is a very common belief system too. It's not like I'm like revolutionizing the idea of like, oh, use light like you're painting with it. It's not. This is very old ideologies. But I think the thing that when I'm looking at this film and I'm thinking of painting with light, I'm thinking of layers and depth of light throughout the frame. So here's what I'll say are the first layers that I see. Hard light layer right here. More hard light layer right there, right? This could be nitpicky, but it feels like this texture creates a layer a little bit there too. This is a layer, but I think that's the same as this layer. It's a layer of darkness, a layer of darkness. Ooh, a single layer of hot, a layer of light here. So that's her shadow, it seems like, right there. So what that makes me feel like is they've got a big old hard light out here hitting that angle that way to cast her shadow that way, right? And then there is a light back here. What is this supposed to be? A skylight of some sort? Maybe. But it feels like there's a layer here, there's a layer here, there's a layer here, there's a layer here. Lots of layers of light. It's creating the illusion of depth. And they're doing it with all textured sort of light. They're blasting big, hard lights through windows from outside to make it feel like the sun. And I think they've done a really great job. And look, there's no lighting inside of the room, so she's really, really down everywhere else, which is really great. You're getting all of these, we've spoken before in previous films, if you have seen the channel before, about checkerboarding. Again, this is another really common thing: bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, and then bright back on her hair, dark, another bright if you say dark here, bright, dark, bright. So you're checkerboarding, you're creating layers of depth. This is stunning, by the way. Like, tell me, like this is just a person walking into a house. Like, this is beautiful and romantic and elevated, and it's all in line with the style and narrative of the film. Like, these images, I think, are directly representative of the story and the conflict that's taking place in front of us as we go through the film. Okay, I've pulled this image because it's not dissimilar from the last image, and so I just wanted to point it out that there is motif, right? They're just putting a series of probably HMI or tungsten because it's warmer. We'll see. I mean, it depends on how much power they're using. They're probably just using a bunch of HMI fixtures through each window, and they're blasting light into this space and have nothing else. The dark wallpaper here creates that checkerboarding that I was talking about before. And so the thing that you just have to keep in mind is being able to keep your contrast levels so that this doesn't blow out, or any of this really, really hot stuff doesn't blow out, and that you don't lose the texture in the darkness there. So basically, it's like, let's say this was shot on 35 millimeter film. Let's say you've got 16 stops of dynamic range. So then it's like, okay, maybe this is 5 stops under, maybe this is 6 stops over, middle gray, whatever middle gray looks like. That's sort of how I'm trying to think of things these days, by using the EL zone system, Ed Lockman zone system. If you don't know what that is, there are tons of videos on the internet. I strongly recommend taking a look at learning what that is. It helps contrast ratios. Look, there's some horizontal slats here. So did they shoot a big HMI through Venetian blinds? I think they did. The lighting of this film is genius because look at the checkerboarding of darkness. I am going to steal all of this. I'm going to steal this for so many shoots where I'm just going to put a large fixture outside of each window and try and shoot into as much depth as possible and just have them be hot lights. And that's just the world. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Okay, let's keep moving on. I mean, if you guys know John Singer Sargent as an artist and look at this image, tell me that this is not a John Singer Sargent painting. Like, it is. Okay, they're exposing it. This is very bright back here. This is definitely plus 6 stops over middle gray because they're actually still holding the texture of some foliage outside. That's the great thing about film. Something that I personally would like to get more experience shooting film. But the conventional wisdom of people who have much more experience shooting film than I do say on the internet that film holds highlights much better than digital or traditionally has. And you can see that right here. Like, you can see the texture in all of this. And even though probably some tiny little portions of this where it's like glowing is blown out, but so big, huge light, biggest light possible right here, just shooting this direction and hitting this side of her. It's hitting this side of her. Maybe there's another one over here as well, because there's like a hard light on her. Look at all this this is all just hard light and texture. Now, one thing that I want to point out, and I'd be curious how they actually did it, again, because I don't know, I'm just reverse engineering, and this is all hypothetical, is the idea that you can see like a cool level, which is bringing up this texture here, and there's a lot of reflected light coming back this direction onto the textures of the fabrics. Obviously, there's some sort of fixture creating this, right? Some sort of front lighting. I don't know if they were using Kina flows or if they were using some sort of large frame diffusion, but it's a soft, very light front push to be able to create texture in the darkness so that that doesn't completely go to black. But what's happening here? It looks like there's level down there. Do they have a Kina flow over there so that this doesn't get too dark and we still get to see all the texture in here? And it seems like a little bit cooler than the sunlight. I don't know. Look at this beautiful frame. Look, again, I think it's about composition. Like, look at, I mean, kind of like, look at the quality of this painting. I know that the contrast ratios aren't the same, but like, look at the quality and the texture of the dress in this painting, and then the texture in the dress. Fresnel over here blasting this direction. You can see all the heat on her. You can see all the heat on the side of him. He's got very dark fabrics, so it does make him pop out against the gold. I feel like he pops out here because he's both silhouetted and very well lit at the same time, which I think is incredible. But you get those ratios. You get this dark and you get this light by having a really, really bright light. Foreground element, midground element, background, layers of items, depth and texture. It's just repeating. It's beautiful. Okay, here we go. This is gonna be our last image, and I just feel like this is very indicative of the film. It's indicative of the quality of images that are being created for this. Sunlight coming in from a window that is over on this side. You can see that hitting her here, hitting her front, hitting this woman here, hitting the side of him, hitting the back of her head. That's what's happening. That's a big, hard, quote-unquote sun. You can also see it on this wood textured door. So that, I would say, is probably our key light, although maybe not true. She's definitely getting some sort of front-facing push that's coming this way. You can see that on her skin tones, right? And she has a little hard light edge there. It looks like there's a little bit something in her hair. Kiefer Sutherland's dad, Donald Sutherland, definitely has a very, very bright light edging him that right there in here, which means that there's something probably high up outside of the frame shooting down this direction. And yeah, man, I'm just so impressed by this film. It just looks so beautiful. Like the colors they choose, the contrasting of the gold, the cool painting, the way that the wardrobe design pops them against the cool colors. Like, man, this is such a beautifully shot movie. I'm just like so in awe of it. I'm so impressed by it, and I actually want to figure out how I can take the techniques that I feel like are working really successfully in this film and bring them to more contemporary stories. I know that there's a reason why they've done it in here. It's about romance, it's about like a heightened reality, but like I just think that there's something really gorgeous about it, and I want to keep it as an arrow in my quiver, is the idea of understanding how to do the layers of light and really paint with the light. And not be afraid of using hard light in situations where people are in it. Like a lot of times we shy away, especially with digital sensors, from hitting people in the face with hard lights, and they're not shying away from that in this film. And I think it's really beautiful. This one I just wanted to make a really quick one. Sorry, my week was pretty busy and I got a lot of exciting things to tell you guys or update you in the future for the channel. A lot of really cool stuff happening this summer that I'm super excited about, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about Pride and Prejudice. Are you guys going to see it in the movie theater? Because it's got to run, so check it out. Do you guys know who John Singer Sargent is? And if not, should I do a video about his work and how it translates to cinematography? Maybe. Thank you so much, guys. Please like, please subscribe, leave me a comment below. It really helps out the channel. I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. Speak soon. Cheers.